And right now, attorney Gloria Allred is holding a press conference at the Lotte, New York Palace. She says it comes in response to threats and retaliation by singer R. Kelly against one of his alleged victims. He has been accused of physically and emotionally abusing more than 50 women. Let's listen into this live press conference.
And she will introduce herself, mother of Dominique Gardner. And then we're going to hear from Lydia Agu, who is the attorney who filed a lawsuit for Ms. Rodgers. Then Lydia and I will take questions. Faith will take questions, but the moms will not be taking questions. So we are here today to let Mr. Kelly know in no uncertain terms that he cannot and will not intimidate his alleged victims into keeping silent about their allegations. Faith Rodgers and her mother are with us at this press conference. We have evidence that Mr. Kelly has engaged in efforts to intimidate and retaliate against Faith Rodgers. We will present this evidence for the first time today. Faith Rodgers filed a lawsuit against Robert Sylvester Kelly, aka R. Kelly, which is still pending in the New York Supreme Court, detailing what she alleges is Kelly's victimization of her. In response to Faith's lawsuit, Mr. Kelly retaliated against her by threatening to reveal what he alleges are details of her sex life. In addition, he posted private photos of her. One threat was contained in a letter Mr. Kelly wrote to Lydia Hills, aka Lydia Agu, an attorney for Ms. Rodgers, as follows, quote, "If she persists in court action, she will be subjected to public opinion during the discovery process. For example, my law team is prepared to request the production of the medical test results proving the origin of her STD claim, as well as 10 personal male witnesses testifying under oath about her sex life in support of her claim, and complete records of her text, FaceTime message exchanges," end quote. Faith is not the only alleged victim whom R. Kelly has attempted to intimidate into silence. In response to the allegations of his many alleged victims, as contained in the recent Lifetime documentary, Kelly's attorney has appeared to threaten a lawsuit against Lifetime. And according to news reports, someone associated with Kelly's team launched a Facebook page called, quote, "Surviving Lies," end quote, to allegedly discredit his accusers. Reports indicated that the page was, quote, "swiftly taken down for violating Facebook's policy on bullying or sharing others' private contact information," end quote. News reports also claim that Mr. Kelly is threatening to sue everyone involved in the documentary. It seems that Mr. Kelly is taking his playbook from Donald Trump, who threatened to sue the women who came forward during the campaign to speak about his behavior towards them. In fact, although it may be a coincidence, Mr. Kelly was recently confronted by the police at Trump Tower in Chicago, where he was residing. Mr. Kelly's attorney, Stephen Greenberg, said the singer will, quote, "hopefully sue Lifetime," end quote, in his first interview with ABC News since the release of Lifetime's Surviving R. Kelly. I say to Mr. Kelly and his attorney, be careful what you hope for. All of these attempts to intimidate and threaten our clients and others will not work. Mr. Kelly, your disgusting tactics will not prevent women who allege that they were victimized from telling their truth. In addition to Faith's mother, Kelly Rodgers, Ms. Michelle Kramer, the mother of Dominique Gardner, is also with us today. Her daughter, Dominique Gardner, also allegedly suffered for years from Kelly's misconduct. These mothers have an important message which they wish to convey to R. Kelly. In addition, we have an appointment today with the New York City Police Department, who have asked to meet with Faith in furtherance of their investigation into potential victims of R. Kelly. We will offer our full and complete cooperation in their investigation. Prosecutors in Chicago and Atlanta are also seeking information from potential victims, and we plan to offer them our cooperation as well. Mr. Kelly, you may soon join the ranks of Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein. Just as they have been and are being held accountable for their actions, you also must be accountable. You can look forward to a legacy which will not be your music, but rather the pain and suffering that you inflicted on the many vulnerable teenagers and young women who claim they were victimized by you. You may rest assured that I will do everything in my power to support those who claim that they are victims. And I represent 3 alleged victims of R. Kelly. Before we go to the next person, we are providing to you what Mr. R. Kelly sent, at least in part, to Ms. Agu. I'm not attaching certain attachments which I think were meant to demean her, and to the best of our knowledge, he never filed this, but he sent it to her. And you, just so that to save time, if you want to look for the quote that I read, it's on the page in which the date October 22nd appears. And I can point that out to you afterwards. All right, now we would like to hear from Faith. And so Faith, why don't you and I change places? Okay?
Taking a stand against R. Kelly, someone who's been termed the king of R&B and is loved by many, has not been easy. I decided after a great deal of thought that I should speak my truth, because it is time I stand up for myself. I trusted him and he betrayed my trust. Once I recognized my worth, I knew I had to walk away. No woman should be victim shamed, harassed, or retaliated against because she assured her rights and spoke her truth. Robert Kelly, the Faith Rodgers you knew, that you met when I was 19 years old, no longer exists. She was vulnerable and impressionable. The 21-year-old Faith Rodgers you're seeing now is much wiser and much stronger. I have learned not to ignore the signs of abuse, manipulation, or intimidation. I also have a message for young women who have heard my story. Please take heed and precaution when involving yourself in a relationship. Also, if you're abused, don't be afraid to acknowledge it, and don't be afraid to report it. There is absolutely no excuse for abuse, and no one deserves to be afraid. Please recognize that any man who truly loves you will not abuse you. If you are in a relationship with someone who is a celebrity or someone you think has much more power than you, please understand that your life has just as much value and that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. I will never allow myself to be disrespected, and neither should you. Thank you.
My daughter is Faith Rodgers. For the past 9 months, my husband and I have received threats and attempts to intimidate us. Our character has also been defamed. We have received threats in the media and have received threatening phone calls and text messages. Although these threats were intended to cause us fear and to back down, it has only made us stronger. We will not back down. R. Kelly's predatory behavior has destroyed the lives and the innocence of many women for the past 2 decades. His behavior has altered the lives not only of his victims, but their families as well. We encourage those who are still afraid to speak out to come forward. You are not alone, and your voice matters. Together, we are stronger. It is very upsetting to see Robert Kelly's arrogant and defiant attitude towards the victims that have come forward against him. He has said he has injected the world with his music, and the world loves R. Kelly. And he thinks his supporters will stick with him no matter how much comes out about his predatory behavior. We urge all those who may like R. Kelly's music to think about their young daughters and ask themselves the following questions. Is this someone that I really want to support? Can I separate the music from the man? Can I ignore what he has done to many of his victims? We love and support Faith Rodgers. The time is up for Robert Sylvester Kelly, and we urge you to take a stand and mute R. Kelly. Thank you. Yes.
I am the mother of Dominique Gardner. My daughter Dominique was in an abusive relationship with R. Kelly. I am here today in support of the bruised warriors who have come forward and those who haven't yet found their courage. As a mother, I have a message for him. I and other mothers are watching you. If you attempt to bully or retaliate against our daughters for speaking their truth, we will take appropriate action against you. Our daughters are not alone in this battle. We love our brave daughters, and the fact that you are a celebrity will never stop us for doing what we can to support and protect them.
Good morning. Since we filed the civil suit against Mr. Kelly in New York Supreme Court, Faith Rodgers has been subjected to online bullying, harassment, victim shaming, retaliation, and receiving threats. This is unacceptable. We are unbothered, and we will not back down. We will be relentless in our fight to make sure that Faith Rodgers is not silenced and that Robert Kelly is brought to justice.
Okay, so why don't you sit here? Okay. All right. Faith and Lydia and I will take questions. Yes. And could you speak, as loudly enough so everybody can hear the question? I'll also try to repeat it if only I can hear it.
Okay, thank you. His lawyers have made statements saying the women who lived with him were consenting adults of sound mind, all of that. What's the response to that argument?
Okay. Whether or not someone was an adult is irrelevant if in fact that person has evidence that they were abused. Not everyone who's made allegations against Mr. Kelly were adults at the time that they allege that he abused them.
We've been listening to a press conference held by attorney Gloria Allred and alleged victims of singer R. Kelly. Allred represents 3 of the accusers, and she says that the press conference came in response to threats and retaliation from the singer to silence those who tried to speak out.